So I don't know if we have any questions up till now. So do we have any questions from the last class?
Okay, I want to ask a question. You know,
Yes,
when we are
please.
assigning our currency, you know, we picked a ledger group. So I was thinking that probably we would have created our own ledger group before that assignment.
Ledger group before assignment. Okay, I understand. But like I said, we have the standard. So let me just go and see if this is the ledger group, right? Oh, so I need to. Sorry, let me relog in. Okay, you mean we should have defined this ledger group right first?
Yes, right? Yes.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess true, but because I know it was already existing, that's why I probably just went through with the settings. It's the same thing. If I had looked for the ledger group here, because it's the same thing here. If I had looked for it, please mute. Nobody having issues. Nobody's. Okay, I think I've muted her. Sorry for that. So if I did not find that here, I would have most likely created it. And another thing I need to also point out briefly before we proceed is that remember that we have a ledger group for the company code settings. So if I come here and go to company code settings, I'm going to see that I have my company code here, IBTC, is assigned to a leading ledger, which is correct. However, in S4HANA, you have to assign your company code to a non-leading ledger. So you have to assign it to both a leading ledger and a non-leading ledger. That's how the structure is. So I have not assigned to a non-leading ledger, I only assigned to this ledger. So I'm going to try to assign my company code to the non-leading ledger I created. Why? Because it's essential that you do your reporting in a parallel form such that you can report in GAAP and you can also report in IFRS. So I'm going to select this non-leading ledger I created, double click on company code settings. You see there is no company code here. I've not assigned my IBTC to this non-leading ledger. So what do? I click on new entries. The company code is IBTC. The fiscal year variance which we will be using will be the standard calendar year for special periods. Posting period variance, we would use the variance 001, which is also standard. Now you can see that, remember, for the leading ledger, we used GAAP, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for the leading ledger, we use GAAP. For the non-leading ledger, we can assign another principle. Okechukwu, do you understand this? And Esther?
Very well, yes.
Yes. So we want to also report in another accounting principle other than GAAP. And this is where that account group, that's the account group you saw. So we want to report in IFRS using the non-leading ledger. Like I said, these ledgers are used for reporting at various levels. We're going to use the home currency as a functional currency. Then we can also just click on enter. So the home currency is there. We can leave this. This is fine, but we can also tell the system, because this company code is going to be reporting both in US in GAAP and in IFRS. We need to select parallel accounting using GL. So we're going to save. So what we have successfully done is that we have told the system that for the leading ledger, we're going to be using GAAP for reporting purposes. For the non-leading ledger, we're going to be using IFRS for reporting purposes. So we're going to be reporting on two different levels. For the non-leading ledger, we have already selected GAAP at this level. We've already selected IFRS, so we don't need to assign any principal accounting principle here. This principle has already assigned at the company code level, so we don't need to assign it here again. So we can just save and we can move on. So let me also check go back to the leading ledger and check also IBTC, where are you? These are other company codes that are here. So we can select this also. Accounting. Yeah. So like I said, when you get the standard system, yes, save changes. You will most likely find most of those things we did are already in the ledger groups. But like you said, fine, it's good you also create it first at the ledger group. So when you go to these other areas, you can now define it appropriately. So that's a good observation. It means you're following. So we are done with the ledgers. We are done with the first thing we did was to do the field status variants. We have also worked on the ledgers. The next thing we are going to work on is on the fiscal year, because FISD, every module will be using this fiscal year. So we're going to maintain the fiscal year. We're going to be making our postings too. So go to maintain fiscal year. So these are we have different. We have the calendar and non-calendar fiscal year. The calendar fiscal year is one full life cycle from January to December. The non-calendar year is from 1 year to the fiscal year entered the next year. So let's say from March 2022 to February 2023, that is a non-calendar fiscal year, because the fiscal year exceeded a one calendar year and part of it entered into a new fiscal year. So SAP has standard for calendar year and non-calendar year, right? So the standard for the calendar year is, you see them here, K0, K1, K2, K3, K4. Non-calendar, you will be seeing them as March to April. And also, another thing you must remember is that for every fiscal year in SAP, we have 6 financial periods. 16 months. Unlike the usual 12 calendar we have what we call 4 special periods in SAP outside the 12 calendar months. The 12 calendar months is your usual fiscal year. The extra 4 special periods are used for year-end reconciliation purposes. And any posting that is done within that 4 special periods only affects the last fiscal year, which is December. Please take note, you might be asked that questions also in your interview sessions. In SAP, we have 16 months. 12 is the calendar months. 4 is what we call the special periods. And that special periods are used for year-end reconciliation and audit, if there are need for audit adjustments and the rest of them in that 4 special periods. And those 4 special periods, the first 11 periods should have been closed. The 4 special period will only affect the last fiscal the last month in the fiscal year, which is December. So we have told the system that we are adopting this K4 as our special period. You can see that the number of posting period is 12. Number of special period is 4. And that's basically the settings. So we'll adopt this K4. We can also create ours. Click here and just copy. You can create yours, but no need. We are going to adopt K4 as our calendar year. So it's already existing, so we're not doing much here. Then we have here, you can edit calendar fiscal year, no need for that. Assign company code to fiscal year variant. So I want to assign our company code to this fiscal year. So you would click this, execute this. Remember, please, how do I check the T code for this transaction? Anybody? Are we there?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. So how do I check the T code for this transaction?
Right click and technical info.
Yes, thank you very much. So you right click and go to technical information. The T code is OB37. To assign company code to fiscal year variant. The transaction code is OB37. So let's do the assignment. Search for your company code. You can see that K4 is already assigned by standard. So we're going to be adopting this K4 as our fiscal year variant. Please write it. Okay, Chuku, our fiscal year variant is K4.
No problem.
Fiscal year period K4. The next thing we're going to look at is the posting periods. The posting periods defined the periods that are open for document to be posted within those periods, right? So, for example, you can close post at the end of every month. In real life, you close periods. If we're done with, normally they give extra of 3 days in the next 1 week in the next month. So let's say at the end of November, they will give you until the 5th of November or 5th of December to round up all the transactions you have in November so that they can close the period and open the next period, which is December. So posting periods are general, they are just the months where you do your postings, right? So you can, let's look at the posting periods we have. First, you can define posting period variant. Let's see the variant. So remember when we're looking at this thing, we use the variant of 0001. That's the posting period variant we used, 0001, which is standard. And let's check the, we will need to create ours because some people might also be using this. So I'm going to copy, select this and copy. And my posting period variant, please write, will be IB posting period, IBPP. Somebody should write this because I will ask when I need it. Posting period variant for IBTC. So click on enter and save. So we have our own posting period, IBPP. We'll still go back and make these changes in the ledgers. Define variant for to company code. So assign variants to company code. So I go to assign variants, go to position, select my company code. Remember, all these parameters I'm using, you should have defined them in the business blueprints. All these parameters I'm using should have been defined in the business blueprints. So define your fiscal year variant. Next, you can check. This is also an interview question. How do you influence how do you close and open? What are part of the month-end activities? So part of the month-end activities of the finance consultant is to close and open the financial periods. So posting period variance is IBPP. So we need to copy, I need to copy from existing. So go to this, type IBPP, then click maintain all. Then you're going to see existing ones. You see these periods are in 2022. So I'm going to copy the standard one. I'm also going to explain to you what these account types represent. So I'm going to click on copy. Now my variant is IBPP. IBPP. Because I need to replace them with my variant. IBPP. 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 So these are account types. A means assets. You can use the drop down. So you will define posting periods for all the account types: assets, customers, vendors, material, GL, and contract accounts. But most times we don't do anything on contract accounts. So S in SAP will always represent GL, M materials, K vendor, D customers, A assets. So that's why we have defined posting periods for all these account types. So ZZZ means they apply to all. The year, you can start here with fiscal year is 2022. We're already leaving 2022, but we have a choice. We have to use 2022. Maybe next year we will change it. When we move to the next fiscal year, we'll change it. So from 1st January to 12, 2020, 13th period will start in 2023. Will it be 2023? Okay, I will confirm. Because if it's 2023, then okay, this is 2022, sorry. Because we still have to post into 2022. So these periods are special periods. So they will have to come up in 2022. I'll check this and get back.
So, Kelechi, I have one question. Each period is how many months?
1 month.
1 month. Oh, okay.
So we have 16 periods. 12 periods is for 1 year.
You said it here.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good. I'm learning something from finance.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so you click on enter and you save. So this is posting periods. You're going to ask the client how many posting periods. So what is your calendar year? Do you use a calendar year or non-calendar year? Then you're going to draft your posting periods accordingly. Now, what did we do? We actually no IBPP. So we have told the system that we can post into asset accounts, customers account, vendor accounts. The period from 1st to 12 is open, and we also have special periods from 13th to 16th of the same year. Now, if I want to close a period, what do I do? If I want to close a period, I can say, if I don't want you to post in the next month, I can say here from 1 to 2. What this means is that from 3 to 12 is not open. Do you understand? So if I want to restrict users, I will just limit the period. I can say from 1 to 1. That means I'm only opening the period of January. When January passes, if people want to post in period 2, it will not be possible because period 2 is not opened. So that's the essence of the posting periods. And you can save. Okay, once you have defined your posting periods and you have assigned them, we need to go back to the ledger and check if the posting periods have also changed. So we're going to check. Okay. Check for IBTC. So you see it has changed here to posting period variant for IBTC. So I mean the changes have been reflected appropriately. Okay, so once you're done with your posting periods, you are done with the very important areas. Then we have parallel accounting, which we talked about defining the accounting principles. This is where you create your gaps, IFRS, and the rest of them. Assigning accounting principles to ledger groups. This is where we assigned GAAP, IFRS. So we have IFRS. We are supposed to assign our IB to IFRS also. So I'm going to click on New. IFRS. Our target group was IB. So click on Enter. Okay, so let me see. We need to do something. Let me see if this is not in use. So I can change this assignment. Okay. Okay, so it's done. So when you're done, you have to come to parallel accounting. Here is where you define the accounting principles. And this is where you assign the accounting principles to the target ledger. Remember, GAAP, I'm even seeing GAAP is assigned to leading ledger. IFRS is assigned to the non-leading ledger for IBTC that we created. Right. So in this, we have actually rounded up some of the sections for ledger. The next, we're going to look at the global parameters. Global parameters is to see all the configurations we have done so far. So go to global parameters, check your company code. So you're going to see all the configurations we have done. We have done the country key, we have set up the company code, controlling area, the fiscal year variant, all these configurations we have done and assigned. We still have more work to do because we have not done the chart of accounts, which is the next thing we are going to do now. So your global parameters will show you all the configurations you have done so far. Then we have functional area. We're not working on that. We have documents. We go to document types. Here you can see the different document types for transactions. So we have asset accounting, secondary cost, CO, customers. So what are document types basically? For every document you post or you open, for example, if I want to post a GL, I'll still go to the, if I want to post a GL, which we will do very soon at the end user side, let me go through the menu part. The transaction code is FB50, which is this. It will always ask me at the back, this document now has what we call a document type. Let me go to the auditing options. Okay, I wanted to show document types. Okay. I think something is going in there. Okay, I think let me check this. See if I could bring out the document types. Propose height, display periods. Okay, so you see document type option is hidden. So if I come here and say document type will be displayed, then I will go back. It's just a setting. So you can see the document type for this document. So document types represent the kind of documents you're creating. If it's an invoice, if it's a GL, if it's a purchase invoice, a sales invoice, any kind of document you're creating has a document type attached to it. The document type will define how that document will be posted. For example, GL document types are different from customer invoice document types. And as a consultant, you should be familiar with the different document types. So, for example, document types that starts from K represent vendors. Document type that starts from D represent customers. So DARO is customer invoice, DZ is for customer payments, KRO is for vendor invoice, KZ is for customer payment. So people like Esther that will be supporting end users, you need to know the document types that you're going to be using for the transactions you're going to be doing. It's not something you should cram, but as you begin to use, you get familiar with this document. But you need to take note of the very popular ones. DRO, customer invoice, DZ, customer payments, SA, GL, KRO, vendor invoice, KZ, vendor payments, AA, asset posting. So these are very popular document types you should take note of, right? So how did I get to my document types? The transaction code for your document types is OBA7. OBA7 has the transaction code to take you to your document types. All right, so we also have, we're not changing anything there. The document types are there by standard, so don't change them. We also have document number range. For every document you post, there is normally a number that is assigned to the document. That number tracks the document number of that transaction. So, right, let's check if we have any number range for IBTC. So put IBTC, go to intervals. So we don't have any number range yet. We need to copy from the standard. If not, we'll have a hard time creating documents. So you go to this option, copy from an existing standard, which is, we can copy from a US company, this guy, and we can put it in our own company code. So copy from this guy and put it in our own company. What are we copying? We're copying number range for accounting documents. So we don't have to create them manually. It's going to take a lot of time. So say, okay, for the intervals, it's copied. Oh, no interval exists. Yeah, okay, let me change this, please. Let's do.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Okay. In real life implementation.
Yes.
Sorry, my children. In real life implementation, like for the document numbers, do you design it with the functional, how would I put it, with the business owners, or you design it yourself as a consultant?
Okay, some of these things will be new to them, right?
Yes.
So let me show you, for example, this interval. You see, some of these things will be new to them. So, so you can see that I have copied. This is the document. So if I post a document, for example, this number range will be tied to each document. So let me show you something. So take note of this 01 and see the numbering from one, let's just say from 1 billion or 1 billion to 1999. This is a number range.
Okay, can I say something
So,
to Lechi?
yeah, let me finish.
Okay.
So, okay, this is a number range, right? And this number 01, this number 01 will be tied to a document type. So let me just hold your question. So this is a document type. If I go to document types, for example, and I open asset accounting, you see this 01. You see this number range 01.
Yes.
If I post an asset, if I post an asset document, it will pick the number range from 100. So this is the number range.
I guess is how the company defined it.
Yes. So you can see this 01 is tied. You can tie this 01 to your asset document. When you post any asset document, you're going to create that document following this range. Now the question is, in real life, how do you determine this number ranges? So normally, if they are using a system that does not do anything like number range before, it is good that as a consultant you have the standard. This is like a standard, so you can use this as their standard.
Yes.
You can tell them that this is SAP standard. The numbering is 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you can tell them the naming conventions for document number range are 10 digits, and we assign these number ranges to all the documents that you would be processing. So when you save any document, you will see a number. That number is what you use to track that document. The number is going to be 10 digits. However, if you feel 10 digits is too long or it's too short, or the one you used to do before is 8, why not? You discuss it, but let the client know that this is a standard SAP document numbering convention. So, Patience, you wanted to ask?
Yeah, that is this number range. We have it. I think in sales we have it the different in different beleg. So beleg means receipts. And
Yeah.
So we have like maybe sales distribution. It says we have transport documents. We have like quotation. We have this. So you give different number range. Want to start with one
from inquiry to quotation to invoice to all those things.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you do your billing and the rest, all those documents are tied to a number range, such that when you process them, it is that number you have assigned to the document that would pop up, or that we use to track that transaction. So we're going to see. Yes, we're going to see all these things as we will test it when we start with the GL. So the most important thing to note is that you have to define number ranges for your document. So when you execute this, you put your company code, you check if there is a number range by clicking interval. If there is no number range, then you have to copy. We normally copy from the standard, which is 0001. 100, which is the SAP standard 0001. This company code has all the number ranges. Because if you don't copy, do you know how many documents you're going to be providing number ranges for? You're going to be having a lot of errors, number range errors. So it's good you copy the standard and let the client know that before you copy. That's why functional consultants already understands the system. So you can present this as the number range we're going to be using. If it's fine by them, they would sign off of it. If they say it's too long, well, you can now start designing your own from scratch. So that's what happens in real life. Okay, I like that question though. It's good as we're doing this related to real life experience, so it would benefit you more. Then we can also copy number range intervals from one company code to another. You can copy number range from an existing company code to another. What this will do is that it is going to, because we have already copied the first one, I don't think we need this anymore. But in the new, it's part of your year-end activity is to copy number range. So, okay, Chuku, it's not just here you do. Every year, part of the year-end activity is you need to move number ranges from 2022 to 2023 so that the system can continue using that same format of number ranges that you're using. It will start afresh to start counting. Right, so that's why it's also part of a year-end activity that you copy existing number range from one company code to another. But we're not going to be doing that here because we have already copied we have already defined number ranges. We can also copy to a fiscal year. Now we can also see the next functionality we call posting keys.
Yeah, does that apply to sales distribution also, copying the number range from the first year to the other one?
No. These are finance. Yeah, these are finance activities. When they copy, you see, this thing is company code wise. It's not module wise. This is company code. Finance SD is inside the company code.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
So anything finance does will affect the company code that the SD person is working on.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah. So the next is posting keys. So we also have posting keys. Posting keys are for the finance, especially keys you use to do debit and credit. So instead of calling it debit and credit in SAP, we use the keys. So for example, 40 means debit for GLs. 50 means credit for GLs. So instead of using the word debit and credit, you're going to be using the codes. So this is 40, debit entry for GLs. This is 50, credit entry for GLs. For vendors, 28 is payment clearing, 31 is invoice. So these are just posting keys that you can use to post transactions. However, the guys will be the one doing the posting for especially vendors. For customers, you're going to have SD. It's just for GLs, and like I said, you have limited postings at the GL side. GLs are normally used for audit adjustments and some activities or some transactions that won't go through SD or Then the finance can use the GLs to do those postings. So the posting keys just represent how they are going to be hitting your books. What entry? When you say 21, what does 21 posting key do? It is debiting credit memo document. What is the effect of debiting a credit memo? Of course, it will reduce the credit memo figure, the creditness of the customer. So this is what we call posting keys. Right. So these are some of the issues. We also have tolerance group, which it's also a very important activity. Tolerance group will basically how you grant access to employees based on what they can do and what they cannot do. The value of transactions they can post and the value of transactions they cannot post. It's also very important. So let's say, for example, I'm going to send you this so that you can see. So we have tolerance group for GL, tolerance group for employees, tolerance assigned users tolerance group. So OBA4. So you can see this is tolerance group for employees. This is still under documents. We're just opening the fields. So go to define tolerance group for employees. My company code is not here, but we would like to copy from the standard. So click on copy, highlight this and click on copy. Put your company code. Anything that involves patience, anything that involves company codes involves all the modules.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
So these are core activities that will affect all the modules. So we have IBTC. So this currency is Europe, so I can't use this guy. So I need to go back. So what does this do? It just gives limits to what the different users can post, the value of transactions that a user can post. That's the essence of employee tolerance. I'm looking for the one that is US. Is that?
The access they have in the system.
Exactly. It's not, yeah, the access in terms of the volume of transaction. So let's say if you say a particular employee cannot post more than a transaction more than 5 million. I'll show you how that works basically. I'm looking for, where is my US? These are all GBP Europe. What do I do now?
So who is the person giving this authorization? Is it the
this is the FI guy, but at the end of the day, the basis team will have to do these authorizations.
Okay.
The basis team will do this authorization. So can you do a screenshot of this?
Yeah, just wait a minute.
Let me copy this. Because these figures, I need to replicate them.
Okay, wait, I just have to go. Okay, done.
Okay, so I'm going to click on new. Let me create my own. So the company code is IBTC. Click on enter. So the currency is there now. I believe this is how many zeros?
One moment. So, 14.
2, 4, 3, 6, 9.
Yes, correct.
9, 12. Yes, correct.
So
what? 5%, right? The percentage.
Yeah.
So what this means is that for the group, because you can group your employees, you're giving access to a particular group. They have access to post amount in document up to, this should be 1 trillion. So if I reduce this thing to 100,000, what it means is that those within that group cannot post documents that above 100,000. If they try to do that, the user will be prompted to get authorization from a higher person. So the restriction is based on the volume of transaction that the person can do. The volume of transaction in a document. Do you have any questions? Okay, so what's the parameter difference?
So 100.
Okay.
Revenue, I think, yeah, 100 as well. Then percentage is 10%.
Okay. And cash discount
is 10. Are they allowed to give cash discount of 10?
Exactly. For a revenue that is so they are giving you a lot of, yes. Yeah. Below anything from 100 and above, you can give a discount, 10% discount. Yes. And so this is just, I mean, in real life, they won't give you access to post this kind of figures. So we can post. We have defined our employee tolerance limits. So this is tolerance group for employees.
So, Kelechi, just excuse me for just 1-2 minutes. I have to go to the restroom.
No problem. No problem. So we can now assign users to the tolerance group we have just created. Esther, any questions while we wait for patients? Okay, Chuko, any questions? Are you enjoying the configuration or is it looking strange? Okay, Chuko, are you there? Esther, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. It's beginning to make small sense, right?
But my, we've not really gotten into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, we are getting there.
So I'm still
the
waiting
application
for the
of all
aspect
these things.
Of where like you buy an asset, they say you do the posting, you want to dispose an asset, you payments, all this, all these things.
We are coming there. But if we don't do all this, for example, things like fiscal year, posting keys, if we don't define all these things, you cannot actually use the system.
True, I agree.
So that's why we are going through this stress to make sure that we.
But what support do you have for, like, hello, sir? Hello.
I can hear you.
Hello. Okay. I believe after this training, we update ourselves more, try to read up, blah, blah, blah. I believe for me, because other people that are in this group, I think they are consultants. Maybe I'm the only odd person out.
Everybody,
job will combo. Everybody. So what do you have? You. Sir? Hello?
I said everybody's like you. All trying to skill up for a job.
I hope you will not leave us stranded. You will still keep supporting us until we are able to find our feet. That's the way you did for me. For after training me on Sage, at least I kept calling 1 thing, 2 thing, and you still keep supporting me until now. I've been able to train somebody that I believe, even if I'm not there, the person can navigate her way, use it anyhow. So I want to also believe I'll be able to get to that point with SAP.
You will. The thing is that not just supporting you when you right from giving you letting you know when there are opportunities, right? When you actually get on the job, normally you're going to be trained by your by the place you're going to. They will need to teach you how they do their own transactions.
Okay.
But because you have learned SAP and you have that, the training is going to be very seamless. Then when you start the work, in case they don't even train you, in case you go for the interview and you're able to defend yourself.
Because sometimes these companies, they put it like they want experience. They will just throw you immediately. You resume, they give you a laptop. Oh yeah, you're on your own now.
Yeah, true. Exactly. That is what. My first SAP job just gave a 3 days onboarding. Nobody took that time to teach me anything. They just showed you. Okay, for your role, these are the things you're going to. Yes.
Already throw you inside a deep sea. Oh, yeah, be swimming.
But what they will need to show you are the document type, the company codes they use, the fiscal year. All those kinds of information that you as an accountant need to have.
Need to know.
Okay. So they'll give you computer and tell you are on your own to continue.
Yeah, once they onboard you now, normally they will onboard you. They will put you through that process. Then they will give you system to start with. So when they do that, we can always have a session every day after work based on what.
Don't worry, Esther. You will meet somebody like Kelechi that will teach you proper.
No, sorry. For real, I'm not that I'm just trying to hype him. Seriously, At least he trained me for Sage. And after then, I had cause to still call him on several occasions, and he has been very, very helpful. Seriously.
I'm sure Kelechi co-worker they'll be happy to work with you. Your junior staff that will work.
Those ones they may not be too happy. They may not be too happy because if he's on ground, he will just prefer this talk too much. I bet he will just go pa 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 and it's done.
What I do is that any place I find myself, right, I know I'm not going to stay there for a long time, so I want to pass the information
knowledge
as quick as I want to pass the knowledge as quick. I don't want to colonize knowledge and keep it.
Or leave the company stranded.
That is what I'm trying to say. Kelechi pass knowledge. I have a colleague that doesn't like to pass knowledge. Only me. She doesn't like to teach you and everything. So those people
no.
They don't
like me. I've already done like me. I've already done that. Where I work. No. Where I work currently, I've already done that. I've given her everything. Madam, take. I'm ready to
move. True. That's how you should.
Some they don't teach you. They don't want. There's some people they fear.
No. That would be wickedness now. On the part of your employer. No, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, but it happens too. I mean, it's the fear of losing their relevance.
Yeah.
They want to be treated as God, so
you know the person they talk of now.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So welcome. Let's move on so that we can cover up some grounds before we close. Yeah, wrap up very soon. Okay, so we are done with defining the tolerance group. So you can check if you go to your company code IBTC. So it's defined. I can't see my IBTC. Where are you? So let me check again. Tolerance. Okay, company code rather. So we have IBTC. If you double click on it, so we have defined and given limits to the different groups. So here you can assign users to the tolerance group. That's the job of the basis guys and all. So you can say, okay, you can say for the tolerance group, you put the person's name and all that. Not relevant for this class. So now we are done with setting up the documents. So the next thing we're going to do is to go to GLs. When we are done with GLs, because taxes would depend on GL, so we might not be able to move past this area until we do the next phase, which is general ledger accounting. Now we're going to be wrapping up here. And of course, this is end user related. We're going to learn how to set up the GL transactions, how to create ledgers and the rest of them, and call it a day. So the first thing in general ledger, we're going to be looking at the master data. We're going to be looking at the GL accounts, preparations. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to be looking at the GL account structure we have. So here you can right click, go to the technical information. The transaction code is OB13 to edit your chart of accounts. Right, so I will execute this. So we're coming close to the end user row. So we do not have the chart of accounts we're using is the standard chart of account, which is CAUS, which is the chart of accounts that we inherited. Let me check that. Okay, I think it's not here. But we need to create our own chart of accounts, right? So I'm going to copy chart of accounts of US. So I'm just going to look for that of US, Northern Ukraine. Where is that of US? Okay. Where is United States. We can copy anyone if we don't see. Okay, so I'm going to copy, I think I have one here. Okay, I'm going to copy this. So copy. Chart of, please take note, our chart of account is IBTC. IB chart of account, IBCA, standard chart of accounts by IBTC. Now, when you do requirement gathering in real life, you're going to ask them, of course, the maintenance language is English. So guys, the GL account number here is 6. So when you're doing requirement gathering, you will ask them what is the current, how do you code your chart of accounts currently? They might be using 7 digits, some 4 digits, some 6 digits. So depending on the number of digits that the current organization is using. So if it's 4 digits, we can use 4 digits. I like using 4 digits, so we save ourselves the stress of always writing a lot of numbers. Then group chart of accounts is for consolidation. If you want to do consolidation of all the chart of accounts in the individual company codes, you can do that in your group chart of accounts, but we're not doing that now, so we're leaving that. So when you check the length and 4 is fine, click on enter to validate, then you save. So we have this as chart of accounts. So we have chart of accounts. So please, okay, Chuku, are you there?
Yes.
So please give me chart of accounts for the 6 different account group you have in finance.
Okay.
Do for current asset, non-current assets, current liabilities, non-current liabilities, income and expense.
Okay.
So you can say current asset 1,000 to 1,005, non-current asset, just like that.
Okay. Normally, how chart of account is classified, we have assets. That's asset first, right? We have liability. Yes. We have income. We have expense. Then we have retained earnings or shareholders account. Then under asset, you can have various classification, right? Yes. You can have fixed and non-current assets, depending on organization. But the standard is what I've mentioned now: asset, liability, income, expense, and retained earnings. So each organization have different classification for their assets, right?
I agree.
The self-liability, you can have a long-term liability and short-term liability. Then under those ones, you also have various classifications. You get
no problem. We're going to do it together now. So assign company code to chart of accounts. That's the next thing. So let's assign the company code we have created to our chart of accounts. The company code is IBTC. What is our chart of accounts? Did you take note of it?
IBCA.
IBCA. Please, Okechukwu, our chart of accounts code is IBTCA. You need to be taking note of these things. So save.
Okay.
So we have done chart of accounts configuration. The next is define account group. So here we're going to define the naming convention for our account types or account groups. So I'll define this so we can see the ones other people have done. Right, so we can define accordingly. So let's see for, I can choose to have reconciliation accounts fixed asset accounts, TP&L accounts. These are classification in high level. Liquid accounts, GL accounts, secondary, where is primary? Secondary / revenues. I think this is fine. Okay, we can have material account. So we are copying this account group structure. So we're going to click on copy. When we copy, we're going to put our own chart of accounts, which is IBCA. So what we're trying to do is to structure the way it's going to be reported, or the way we have discussed with the client. IBCA. So if you check this, business blueprint, for example, you're going to see chart of account. This is company code, business area, financial accounting. Let's see. So this is chart of account. So you can see now that they're asking you which companies use the same chart of account. How many natural accounts will each chart of account contain? They have approximately 850 other than vendors and customers. What are the numbering logic? Can you see this, guys? Are you there?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes. So the numbering logic is what we want to define now. This is the numbering logic. So we are still trying to define. So these, like I said, practically you should have done requirement gathering for all these informations. Then you will just have to configure based on what you have gathered. I think we're going to call it a day once we are done with this part. So reconciliation account, we can change this to recon fixed assets, FAA, P&L.
Can these numbers be also alphanumeric, or is only
yes. No, it's only numeric. This guy is here, right?
No, the account group.
Yeah, yes, it can be alphanumeric actually. It's just a code.
Okay.
Liquid funds will be more of current assets, material accounts, GL. Yeah, then secondary cost elements. We will need to have primary cost elements. So our reconciliation account will start with the list figure. We normally do, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 7. So we will do this from, we have 4 digits. So 7,000 to 7,999. Sorry. Asset account starts from 1,000 to, please, you need to take note of this, guys, because when we're creating, Esther, you need to take note of this too. Okay. So let's say 7,000 to 7,999. Liquid funds, which is current asset from, okay, this is to 599. This is from 1600 to 1999. GL is from, we've not done sales. Okay, I'm going to change this account. Yeah, from GL is 4,000 to 4,999. Sales is 3,000 to 3,999. Okay, P and L is here, GL is here. I will have to delete one. P and L will be 8,000 to 8,999. Secondary cost element will be from 9,000 to 9,999. So click on enter. Have you copied this? Esther, okay. Have you copied this structure?
Just let me do a screenshot. Just hold on. Patience, please. Could you help? I'm trying to attend to myself.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Please do a screenshot and you can.
I'll just take a picture and send it in the group, in our group, in WhatsApp.
Okay. No problem. Thank you.
Okay. It's okay. I snapped it already.
Okay. So you can save this and say okay. Then we can go back. So we can go to position, chart of account, IBCA. So we have this looking if we missed anything, profit and loss account and GL. I don't know why this profit and loss is the same thing. So I'm going to profit and loss. We can rename to primary cost element. And save. Okay. So we have please can you snap this again?
Okay.
Because I changed one of these things. Just from here to here. IBCA. You can snap and stop where IBCA stops.
Okay. Snapped and sent already.
Okay, thank you. So we are done with defining the accounting group, and here we can define retained earnings. So if you check the accounts group, I'm not sure we defined a retained earnings, but we can put it in. So let me check IBCA. We did not have something on liabilities. Liability is supposed to be 300, so I'm going to copy one of these guys. Okay. Just a second. Okay. So I want to create something for liabilities. So I'm going to copy this guy. IBCA liabilities. Liabilities account from 3,000 to 3,999. You can enter and save. So we have liabilities 3,000, sales. Oh, liabilities should be 2,000.
It should be 2,000. It's supposed to be 2,000.
Yes, 2,000. No. Okay. Primary cost.
This
are you there?
general,
Can you see my?
This general account. Why not we put it as expense account?
Expense. GL is expense now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. Okay, so let's move to the next thing. So the next thing is to define retained earnings. So we can execute that. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll enter the chart of accounts, IBCA. Now, so let me go back. Now we want to define retained earnings. We want to define a GL for retained earnings. We want to assign a GL to the retained earnings account. We're going to be using the liability account for this. So we are going to assign 2,000. Okay, so we can just say X for retained earnings. Then we're going to be assigning the GL 2,000. Remember, we have not created this GL yet. So the system will warn us. So once we are done with this class, so it's going to tell us that this GL has not been created, but it is within the account group. So we can say, okay. So we have assigned a GL called 2,000 to the account group for retained earnings. So we are done with everything we need to do about GL. That takes us to the next class for end user. So somebody like Esther now, this is where your session starts. So the next task is we're going to be creating GLs in the next 6 minutes because we will close by 9:30. We're going to be creating GLs for each of these account groups as fast as we can. How do we create GLs? The transaction code is FS00, or we can go through the menu part. So for the menu part, Esther, this is where your work starts. So they can ask you what you did SAP, like, so what as a super user, do you know, what module do you know? So you can say GLs. And what happens in the GLs when you go to accounting, financial accounting, general ledger. So these are all the activities in general ledger, right? Are you there?
Yes.
Yes. So these are all the activities in general ledger. The first thing you're going to be learning now is master records. Master data are informations that you create. So for example, you can join a group and they say, we wanted to post to a ledger called repairs and maintenance for building. So when the person wanted to try to post, he couldn't find that ledger because that ledger has not been created. So it is your responsibility. You might be a GL person, or you might be supporting a user that in this regards. So the what we are doing now is how to create GLs in SAP. So to create GLs, you go to the menu part, go to accounting, financial accounting, general ledger, then you go to master records. When you go to master records, you're going to see GL accounts. So you go to GL accounts. There are different options: individual processing, collective processing, display changes. So we're going to individual processing. Then you can create GLs in 3 ways. You can create GLs centrally. You can create GLs in chart of accounts. You can create GLs in company codes. Now, take note that in SAP, the chart of accounts, is where all the GLs reside. That is the home for all the GLs in SAP. And the chart of accounts is created in two structures, which is the company code structure and the chart of account structure. Those are the two structures in the chart of accounts. You can create chart of accounts in those two structures. Now, we want to create centrally means that you're opening one page for these two structure. Central means that you're not, if you want to create in chart of accounts is a different window. If you want to create in company code is a different window. But central means that you're creating the two structures in one window. And the transaction code, which is popular. So please take note. I hope you're taking note. The transaction code to create GLs centrally is called FS00. This is one of the most popular transaction codes for the finance consultants. So go to FS00. We needed to create GLs first because every other module, the integration point between FI and every other module is at the GLs. So now go to FS00. We have another company code here. So we need to change this. So you can go to, okay, so what I will do, let me go exit this screen. So let me go to display hierarchy so that I can change this. Say do not display. Yes, so I'm going to come back. So just run it again. So here you can come here and put the company code, which is, so we're doing our first transactions for this company code. We are testing our first configuration, which is GL. The company code is IBTC. Now I want to create, the first thing I want to create is a fixed asset, furniture and fitting. What is the range for fixed asset?
1,000 to what? 199.
Okay, so I'm going to start with 1,000. I'm going to start with 1,000.
Okay.
So here you put the account code. If you click on the drop down, you will see that there is no account yet. There is no GL yet. So you put the account code based on your naming convention, based on the account grouping that we did. You put the account code, put your company code. Then there's this sign here we call create. So this is how you create your GL. Put the GL number, put the company code, and you click create. If you want to see the last GL number, you can always see that through this point. We'll check that later. So click the create button. It's going to open up a new page. Now go to the account type. You see we have different account types from the standard SAP system. We want to create a balance sheet account. So this is done. The account group, you can see the account group we created. This is fixed assets. So it's done. You come to the text. So you can say here, furniture and fittings. Furniture and fittings. Then you go to the control data. So this is what we call the chart of account structure, chart of account data. So we have two data, the chart of account data and the company code data. When you're done with the type or description, go to the control data, confirm your currency. Balance sheet accounts are normally in local currency. So it's fine to tick this. Sort key. Sort key is very important when you want to run line item reports for your GL. So we're going to be sorting with document number and fiscal year 002. Then we can go to create bank and interest. Field status. Remember we created our own field status. So normally for Banks, for fixed assets, we have here assets without accumulated depreciation. So this will be having accumulated depreciation. So we will just select general. Then all these other options, we will use them as I'm going to tell you as we use them. So when we're done, you click on enter to verify if there is any mistake. No mistake, you go up here and click on save. So if this saves successfully, that means our GL configuration was 100% correct. And you can see that data was saved. So our configuration was fine. So how do I check what I just did? Go to the drop down here. We also have reports that you can display your GL accounts. Confirm your chart of accounts here, then say okay. So congratulations, we have our first GL account and have successfully created our first GL account. So let's create, I want to create one for liabilities. Liabilities is 2,000, right? And we say 2,000 was for retained earnings. So I'm going to create fast. I just want to create for every one of them. GL account, balance sheet. Yes. Account group. We'll go under, we're supposed to have something like retained earnings. Reconciliation account ready for input. No. Let's just use it as
liabilities that is 2,000.
Liabilities. Yeah. So retained earnings. Go here. Balance sheet is good. Then no open item management. 102. Then this account should be posted automatically because it's retained earnings. Automatically the listing will the profit for the year will be posted to that account. General. Then we save. Fill up required. Okay, this is not supposed to be relevant for cash flow. Let me check. Okay, let me see this. Okay, so we have our first, second accounts. I want to create for sales. Let me create for another this thing. Let me create for loan.
Sorry, a question.
Yes.
Okay. In real life again, companies that have up to 1,000 accounts.
Yes.
So is that a program to create this account once?
Yes, of course. That's why we have the data migration tool. You can just migrate, you can use the template and migrate everything at once. Right?
Okay, we'll be happy to see it.
Yeah. I'll check. But please go through the video I did on data migration. You will see it. Because some of these things don't come with this servers that we're using. Remember, this server is offline. So let's see. The next thing is revenue, non-operating income, GL accounts. Okay, 3,000 would be for sales account. Sales account. Sales account. 002. Open item management are for payables and receivables. Basically, items that are open that will need to be cleared, at the end of every fiscal year or carried forward. So we are creating sales, so we can come here and look for a field status group that's related to sales. Revenue accounts is fine. And save. So we have successfully created a sales account. The number 4 will be expense. Non-operating expense.
Accounting, you have a lot to do.
Expense, we can go this. Right there, this FIC yourself now just come. Now then suffer pass. Repairs and maintenance. This is not necessary. Account, so no.
Is this number, this short key, this 002 that we're always putting, what is it? Is it like a standard number?
Yeah, so what those you are going to it's better seeing that explain, but just know that when you want to sort for, when you post transactions, if you want to sort for this GL, this is like a parameter to sort. So if you run this GL, don't worry, when we post, I'll show you how this sort key works.
Okay.
Because when we post, you will see in the line item, you will see the document number and the year as one code. Because we have put here that whenever we use this GL, if we're running report, it should sort the report by document number and by the fiscal year. We can also use posting date as a sort key. We can use anything at the standard, but I'll show you that when we run a typical example. So I've created my first expense. What else? I think we've done every other thing. Okay, so let me look at the list. Click the drop down and say okay. So yes, we have been able to create some GLs for today. So we can wrap up this session here. When we come in the next class, which is most likely tomorrow is Thursday, and after that, we're going to say Happy New Year. So tomorrow, we're going to now see how to post transactions using these GLs. So I don't know if we have any questions at this point.
Kelechi, are we going to do this thing now after the class?
You said that stuff?
I know you wrote me 10 minutes. We do this thing after the class.
Okay, yeah, no wahala. We'll do it. Let's wrap it up so you can go, you can move on.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, Chuku, any response? Any questions?
No. Excellent today. Thank you.
Yes, please. What you can help me do is go through that data migration video I sent, because I'm even having issues with accessing the Fiori app on this screen. It's very slow. So I've written to them. I hope they resolve it so we can have that Fiori experience. Even creating these GLs, we should be able to have done it in the Fiori side. Right, so go through the video on data migration I've shared. You're going to know more about that. It's up to you now. I've shown you the way. So find time to do that. So Esther, your work has started. So it is not functional consultants that create GL. It is users. So this is your first task for today. At least today you have learned how to create GLs. Tomorrow we will now have a scenario and we're going to see how we can post transactions, GL transactions. When we are done, before posting, we will try to do document splitting such that the reporting can come up very beautiful according to different accounting principles. Then we'll now do the postings. Then we'll move to the next thing. Probably we'll look at some configuration in the SD side. Then we should be able to move to other things tomorrow. All right, thank you very much, guys. And do have a lovely evening.
Okay, thank you. I will remain on the line now. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much. No thank you.
Okay, you guys have a nice evening. Okay, Chuku.
Yes. Good night. Thank you. Good
okay,
night.
Chuku, have a nice